Yes.
Yeah, because he was equivocating J into J. Yeah.
He concludes, yes.
Okay.
Because they have misunderstanding as a cause, the first link, they are figments. They're not perceived by an aria in the direct, yes. Triplets, the direct perception of emptiness. Okay, I thought you guys were going to be
More
bored 'cause
awake.
it's too easy. Veggie burgers are bringing you down.
I don't think we should have this text in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'll switch it maybe for
But
next
no
time.
other text is easy.
What question does this raise? Do you want me to go back, or do you know what we're talking about now? About what's not seen in the direct perception of emptiness. This kind of becomes the foundation for the ensuing discussion. This question that it raises, you weren't here yet.
You can't see time, or you can't see any changing. Yeah.
You cannot see anything that is accepted reality.
Yeah, basically, if something is not seen in the direct perception of emptiness, does that mean that it doesn't exist?
No.
No, that's not the question. That's the question that's raised. That's the answer to the question. It's not a yes or no question. I thought about asking you guys yes or no questions, but this is the discussion that comes about now in the text. He starts to discuss. Well, if you don't, if an Arya's wisdom, Pakbe Nyamshak, or Namshak, what's he call it?
Yeshi.
Yeah, Namshak Yeshe, Pakbe Yeshe. If something is not seen in the direct perception of emptiness, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Then that we start to discuss it.
Yeah.
Okay. Tibetan that they're using for seen in the direct perception of emptiness. You guys all know the word. It's easier than you think. That's it. And it came up a few times. Yeah, close. Change a letter. He used it several times.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. He keeps kind of coming back to that in this text.
Yeah.
Sikpa is something that's seen in the direct perception.
Please don't be sexy.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hide and meek.
I apologize.
That question opens up a can of worms regarding what people think about the middle way school. What is the famous idea being discussed, and what does Gyaltsab J think about how this topic relates to that idea?
Middle way school take what is that?
No position.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
No position,
No
yeah.
positions, yeah.
Okay, good. And what does Gyaltsab J think about how this topic relates to that idea?
Just because I don't know.
I think
You're there.
you kn-
Tie the two topics together. Something.
Oh, right.
yeah.
So I bet mind only doesn't have a position. When they say,
Well, you got to do something before. I guess if
there's no position, the mind only is the highest way or something.
yeah, no, you're close though. I guess if
Yeah.
if these things aren't if these things mean that you have no position, if this is true and that means you have no position, then I guess mind only also has no position.
Right.
What's the thing? Do you remember?
Yeah, the mind only.
Oh.
So if this
takes
oh, there is
position.
no cohere, there is also a concrete.
Relates back to the forget it. Here you go. Gyaltsab J feels that the fact that dependent things are not perceived in the direct perception of it is not what that means at all.
Yeah.
If that were the case, then the mentalists, he calls them namrikpas, also take no position. This is the easiest questions I could come up with, okay?
Yeah.
There's kind of a tricky part.
Thanks for trying.
Yeah. Well, at least it gives us context. To review this gives us context of where we are in the text. And like what, and
it's a hard one too.
yeah, it's a good idea. We can try that. Yeah, then you're just gonna crack it up. Tibetan for take no position. Easy as you, it's easy. It's the word for position and the word for no.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of words for position. He doesn't use
Not Damcha?
no.
Luke?
No. It's actually, I'm sorry, it's the word for accept and no.
Yeah, he had.
Yeah.
What was it?
He says Kailan to Mepa, but Kailan I would have accepted and given you 10 extra points.
But no money.
I'm playing this game for one more day so Aaron can see it. So we have a running joke that Stanley calls these sexy Tibetan words, so I put a sultry picture.
It looks like a black screen.
I won't keep running. I was hoping nobody would notice. Yeah. But it had it had the nice colors and the moody lighting.
On a king size. California king.
STW.
Anybody know this sexy Tibetan word?
It's too big for Paris.
Jeff?
That's why they have to push two together to meet.
No, that's not the measure.
Yeah, no. Yeah, way estimate.
All right,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Cool. Oh, okay. Limbo.
Oh, fools.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, that's it? Yeah, because I gave you other Tibetan words that were sexy also. Okay, you take the plane, sir.
Okay, let's crash this plane. Yay, Nikki.
Thank you. Yeah, Handsome Jake.
So usually we go through this process where we get a text, I read it, I figure it out, then I teach it, then you try to translate it, and then I fix your translation. And
That has been the process.
However, yeah.
but with Nick's text, to be honest, I try to read it, I can't read it very well, I teach it, then he tries to translate it, then I try to fix it, and then I have to study the whole thing again, and then I try to get it right. So it's actually much more difficult. His text is much more difficult. I think words and Nick's are about on the same level. Very, very, very difficult to read. Okay. It's almost like we don't get it right until we do the final edit. Because we keep finding out more things. And okay. So, I mean, what I want to say is trying to teach you this class is a little bit like, I don't know, there's going to be holes in the class. There's things I don't understand. And extremely difficult, okay? And I don't think anyone's ever tried to translate this. I think they would give up anyway. So we're not giving up, but that doesn't mean we're doing it. Okay.
The 60 verses have been translated.
Yeah, but...
That's just like, yeah.
Okay. So we're at this, I think we're at Nipala, am I right?
Yep.
The second point now, my job, one of my jobs is to go get in Tibetan. They just say we've reached point number 2, and they don't tell you what it is. So one of your jobs, if you're going to teach the class, is to go back and find out what was number 2. And unfortunately, there's 50 number 2s, and you got to go back through all of them and figure out what it is. So here it is, okay? Rangla Tepa means what? Literally.
Ours is correct.
Yeah, ours is correct. Ours is correct, meaning our idea about what is nirvana. Okay, so we're on the subject of what is nirvana. And he says, which he's a lower school guy, he says, if your interpretation of emptiness is correct, you can't reach nirvana because nothing exists. Okay, if your interpretation of emptiness is correct, you can't reach nirvana because nothing exists. And we say, no, if our interpretation of nirvana, if things are not empty, then you can't reach nirvana. It's the opposite. If things are not empty, then you can't reach nirvana. Okay, so this is supposed to be the section where we show that only if things are empty can you have emptiness. Okay, and we just finished the first part of that, which is Duche Papi Nyamja Give Me Sikpa. Why is it that when a person's in the direct perception of emptiness, they cannot see a changing thing? Why is that? Okay, and supposedly we finished that part. Oh, money pay me home. Okay. And now we reach, I moved that. And now we reach the second part, which is the expression. Okay, Shepe Tanya means the expression, quote, when you get used to that, you have done what you had to do. Chawa Chepa Kurporwa, very famous. Chawa Chepa means I did what I had to do. Kurporwa means I dumped the load I had on my back. and it's a famous. It's in the One Day Vows, right, Allison? I did what I had to do. So yeah, Korporwa. Okay, I'm like the Dachangshi Tabu. I'm like the flying horse who reads its rider's mind. They turn left before you want to turn left. Okay, so these are all famous expressions. Now, the context of Nick's book. Do you want to tell Carol and John what's the context of your book? What's going on in your book? Why did Nagarjuna write this book?
Nagarjuna wrote the 60 verses on reasoning to show the lower schools that they already accept emptiness according to the higher schools. That's the short version. So they have different version of emptiness, you could say, different proofs for that. And he takes those proofs and shows them that in fact, they already believe in the emptiness that's propounded by the middle way school.
Yeah, so the lower schools complain to the higher schools that we don't accept your idea of emptiness. Why? Because of statements in the first part of the Buddha's life don't support the idea of emptiness. And we say, no, you're wrong. They exactly support the idea of emptiness. So you just have to read them differently, okay? So it's not weird that we should have little snippets, little quotations from the lower way scriptures that are actually hidden references to highest emptiness, okay? So that's what's going to happen now. So somebody says, Tenyi Kombe, if you get used to that, Chawa Cheso, you have done what you had to do in this life, okay? Then Yul to Temba means, what was he talking about when he said you did what you had to do, okay? So today's class is higher interpretation of the lower sutra, which says you did what you had to do, okay? And somehow we're going to try to stick emptiness in here, okay? So here we go. I'm sorry, yeah. So that explaining what it means in the early sutras, when Buddha said you did what you had to do, we're going to have 3 parts to this explanation. A, we're going to give the real explanation. What did Buddha mean when he said you did what you had to do? You're done, okay? In scripture, it's also called you dumped the load you had to dump, okay? Korporwa, chawa chepa. Okay, second part here. Tok cha chuying na namba mindawa mepa temba. $50. Everyone was like, what?
You've realized the realm which is Dharmadatsu. Oh,
That there are no,
There's nothing.
There is no difference.
That's like a $13 answer. What? Give me all the words in the sentence to start with.
No, there's no difference between the Dharmadatsu and what you have to realize.
Make those in a positive, and I'll still pay you.
The Dharmadatsu, what you have to realize.
Doesn't
No
have
difference between
doesn't have within it.
Oh, the realization of Dharmadatsu doesn't have within it anything that exists. No?
The tokcha, that which is realized, which is emptiness, doesn't have namba mandalas.
Differences.
Right. He gets the mullah.
Yay.
Adam gets the mullah. You can put it in Ava Grace's college fund. Okay, yeah. There's no shades of emptiness. There's no different flavors of emptiness. Okay, it's all the same. Okay, what you have to realize, tokcha, chuying, the realm of the Dharma, the empty realm. This is the poetic word for emptiness. Okay, chuying. Namba mandawa, different variations. Me. There's no different variations. It's all the same. Okay, and that's the second category. Shenki tapa chawa. Shenki tapa chawa chepe tanyaki yuda miruwa. Interpretations that other people have made up for this expression, you did what you had to do, are wrong. Okay, interpretations that you lower people have made up to explain what the Buddha meant when he said you did what you had to do are wrong. Okay, this patakpa means that you made up, that you imagined, those are wrong. So what's our first job today? We just have to show what was Buddha talking about in the early part of his career when he said you did what you had to do because you got used to it. You did what you had to do because you got used to it. So what did he mean? Okay, here we go. And luckily, in Nick's text, We have some of the Sanskrit. We don't have all the Sanskrit, okay? We have some of the Sanskrit because,
So other people even quoted his book?
yeah, other books quoted it. Other Sanskrit books that still survive quoted it, but not all of it. So we just have pieces of it. And people have collected pieces over the last 200 years or something. And recently we got some more pieces from Beijing that were found in Nepatala, okay? So we're making progress. We don't have the whole book yet. Here we go. Deni.
Seeing thusness.
Is the
Yeah, now what's Tongchen mean? I'll give you a clue. Yoga Sutra. Drshta Janma Vedamiya.
This life for not another life? Like, seen this life?
Wait, what did you say?
This life for another life?
Yeah, good. Drshta means, in the Yoga Sutra, Drshta means karmic results you see in this life. You do things so powerful that before you die, you see the result of the karma, okay? Adrshta means not seen, which means seen in the next life. And Janma Vedaniya means
Or subsequent lives.
seen in the next life, after the next life, all the lives after that. So this distinction was taken from the Buddhists. Okay, so Tongche means Drshta, something you see in this life. Okay, something you see in this life. Okay, I'm saying, okay, Nyangen Le De, read across the lines, Nirvana, and that is Chawachepa.
That's what you had to do.
That's what it means when Buddha said you did what you had to do. Okay, as a karmic result seen in this life, you reach nirvana, and you have done what you had to do, which kind of contradicts the lower school opinion of Bemner Gyunche.
Cutting the flow.
If you cut off the flow, you wouldn't have a next life.
Yeah, the flow of your body and mind are discontinued, and that's the low school's version of nirvana. What it is to reach nirvana. Your mind shuts down, your body shuts down, you go into some kind of heaven. And then the famous argument against it.
Well,
Sorry,
sorry,
put a book about what happened after I reached nirvana.
No, it's just a question. Who reached nirvana? Because there's nobody left. Then the guy's like, we didn't think of that.
is the Deni, is that somehow the
It could be, we don't know what Deni means.
Oh,
Right now, it just means that thing.
oh,
It
so
could mean emptiness. It could mean nirvana without remainder.
It says Dharma.
is it the grammatical
No,
endings?
it
Is it the Visarga? Is it
Well, if you really want to know, what is it up here? Oh, good question. Okay, Tong Che is Drshta Dharma. Okay, Nirvana is Nirvana. Kurta Kurtyam means you did what you had to do. Yeah, it's the Kur root for karma. Okay,
Ang is Eva?
Tad Eva means just that thing.
Oh, so
Tad Eva, just that thing. Yeah, Deni is just.
Ang Yin, isn't it?
Cha. Cha is the The ang. Cha is the pa'ang. Cha means and. So it's the pa'ang. Yeah, it's the ang. Say again?
Shing?
He added it. Okay. I tell you about cha.
there's a shing and a, yeah.
Oh, there's two chas.
There's a shing and a.
Yeah, but two chas equals an ang. Okay. Anyway. All right, and it's fun to look at this. The cool word here is kurta kurtyam. You did what you had to do. Okay, so here we go. Please read.
Ten chin chua pa chung wei kewa tang ngak pa mi mi te lak chi ki ne kap te mi tong wei chi chen di ni la yang len de pa to pa tang nyu mo ba tong wa so ki chawa che pang yin no.
You know. Okay, good. So let's take starting and stopping. Okay, kewa and gakpa. Okay, which do occur in
Dependence.
Yeah. The seeds coming out of your mind stop, so the outside things stop. The seeds coming out of your mind start again, so outer things start again. Okay? That's dependent origination. Where's the dependent origination? In the kitchen.
When the husband yells at you.
The husband yells at you because you yelled at the kids last week. That's real dependent origination. So forget all this fancy philosophy stuff. You know, somebody complained to me and they said, "Oh, you're trying to crush everything into the kitchen." And I said, if it's not in the kitchen, why would it be in a sutra? Okay. Yeah, if it's not applicable to your relationship with your husband or your wife, why would it be in a sutra? Okay. All right. Tenchen Dewa Chuma Kyawa Dangapa Mibikpa. Those, a starting and a stopping, which are core because of seeds in your mind, are mimikpa.
They're not seen by an
Yeah, are not visible. Are not visible during Hlakche.
Nirvana with leftover.
Yeah, during nirvana with leftover. Okay.
Ursula, is that Tenchi Drill's par that I heard you read?
Oh, there is a past tense of draw, which is par. And it's probably had a D after the L. An invisible secondary suffix letter D. So it's not impossible. It's just weird. Okay. Gaba maybe up. So we're considering a point in this experience of nirvana where you still have something left over, and you cannot perceive things starting and stopping due to seeds. Okay. Let's take that experience of nirvana. Tongwei Che. Is it a thing seen in this life? I take it that way. Because, say, Dinila, can you achieve nirvana in this life? And can we say that if you have eliminated your nyomongs, you have chawachesa? You did what you had to do. Okay. So they would say, just getting rid of your negativities is not enough to call it nirvana. You have to shut down. Your body has to shut down, your mind shut down. And we're like, no. You can have a nirvana. There is life after nirvana. Okay? What was the famous scriptural proof? Yeah, we just went to a very funny, there's a lower sutra called How I Achieved Nirvana, written by Shariputra, who's the hero of the Heart Sutra, right? And he wrote a book called How I Achieved Nirvana. So we just say, and that's a Hinayana Sutra. So we say, what about that book? And they say, what book? And say, you know the book that Shariputra wrote. What book did Shariputra write? You know the one where he described his nirvana.
The one called What He Said After.
The name of the book is How Shariputra Described His Nirvana Afterwards. And we're like, was that after his body shut down? Was that after his mind shut down? And they're like, okay, got it?
In the lower school, when you just get rid of your mental afflictions, is that what they call nirvana with remainder?
We would like, it feels like all we're trying to sell to them is that you can still exist after you reach nirvana, because the main point of the first part of nirvana is that you shut down your anger, desire, jealousy forever, and you still have a body. And you still have a mind.
Is that totally, does that even have a name to them? Is it inconsequential? Because to us, that's nirvana. So to them, it's...
Oh, what would they call it?
Yeah.
Well, they'd have to call it nirvana with something left over. Yeah.
And there was some
And then they would say later on your body disappears.
There was some debate a few lines ago about whether they called just having had the direct perception of emptiness nirvana.
Yeah.
Remainder.
Yeah.
They're kind of discussing it, and maybe they're going to
I think we're in the middle of the argument. Yeah. Okay. Now, please note in the root text. This is Nagarjuna, right? And he said, "Ba'ang, ba'ang." It also, okay. Tad eva cha, probably the cha. Okay, so also, okay. This is also did what you had to do. This is also did what you had to do.
Sure.
Now, Gyaltsab J wants to discuss why did Buddha stick in this also? Sorry, why did Nagarjuna stick in this? What's the also? What's the point of the also? Here we go. Yeah. The word also is meant to say, juk toksu means afterwards, after the fact. Juk toksu means after the fact. After you have chawa chepa, after you've done what you had to do, which we all agree Buddha said, we just don't agree what it means, okay? There is still a later process where your birth stopped, okay? Birth forced on you by karma and kleshas, okay? So also, or further, means there's two steps. Number one, you do what you had to do, which we say means you got rid of your negative emotions. And then after that, you have an experience where you stop your rebirth of pain, okay? Got it? That's the order according to us, okay? You say the people blink out, okay? But we say you did what you got to do. If you just get rid of your anger, jealousy, desire permanently, okay? And then later, because you got rid of your anger, desire, permanently, you don't have to take any births in the wheel of life. Any rebirth. Okay, got it? You okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is just a
question. We got to throw in a second stage of nirvana where you don't take dirty rebirth anymore. But by the time you have eliminated your negative emotions, according to us, that's what Buddha meant when he said, you did what you got to do. You did what you got to do. And then later, we would throw in no more dirty rebirth, include later. Yeah, we would throw them in there.
The word ang here is to include the...
Yeah, exactly. The ang is to indicate there's two steps here. One is you clean out your mind. Second is your rebirth stop because you cleaned out your mind. But one has to happen long before the other one, okay? Because you still got to wear out your old body and mind, which are still being produced by old dirty karmas, okay? All right? That's what we say. All right.
What about soul? What else?
Sorry?
Oh, yeah.
Say about soul.
So it's extinguished and...
Oh, I don't know. Other experience after their... So I don't know. You stop doing... You know what they would say is you don't have nengen chepa anymore.
Like an arhat jumping over a puddle?
Yeah, it's called slightly impure deeds by an arhat. And the example is moving your body inelegantly. Okay, that's the worst thing an arhat can do. Like they walk down the steps a little clunky. And for that, that's supposed to be a subtle negativity that an arhat still has. So I'll throw that into the soap. Okay. Okay, please read. Jalpar.
Jalpar Pakpa Shari Pu Nyangan Lende Pak Nunsun Tu Jene Do Di Sheto Shegang Sumba Ndi Ni Tongwe Chela Nyangan Lende Pak Rik Par Chala Ganyan Kewa Sedo Shisok Sheto.
Okay, good. In the Draupar, in some commentary, and I believe it's Chandakirti's commentary to the 60 verses, okay? Which is the only place that you get this sutra mentioned. It no longer exists as a separate sutra. Which sutra?
Sutra by Shari.
Yeah, where Shariputra describes his own nirvana, okay? So in that commentary by Chandakirti, the Arya Shariputra, okay, Ngunsum tu che.
Did
Directly did it.
Yeah, he brought about. Okay, he brought about his nirvana. Okay, Shariputra brought about his own nirvana. That's what this sutra is talking about. Okay, in this sutra, he talks about how I brought about my nirvana. Therefore, his nirvana was a tongwicha.
Something happened in this life.
Yeah, something he experienced before he came to the end of this life.
Yeah.
Adurshta janma. What's the first part of that? Karma shukla krishnam yoginistu.
It's a different verse.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Dodiniship sumadeni tongwicha lanyangana debra pachala. You have to understand, Ripacha, that what this is talking about is that Shariputra's nirvana was something he saw before the end of his life. Okay? And then, only then did he have the experience of ending his rebirth. Okay? Shedo. That's what the sutra is saying. And that's what we believe. Okay? That's what we believe. So at what point have you done what you had to do according to us? You got rid of your negativities, your negative emotions. According to them?
After you blink out.
Yeah, after you blink out.
Right.
You did what you had to do. Okay, so we have a disagreement about the meaning of the wording, did what you had to do. And we win
Of course.
because Shariputra said, I did what I had to do, and he's still around to talk about it. Okay? Got it? Cool. Okay, he's still around to talk about it. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, this point has, as I explained before, is made clear in the Jendeki Do, which means,
Right. So that sutra, what I said after.
yeah, Jace means afterwards. De means recited, like he sat down and recited the sutra that he wrote in his head, I guess. And is it a sutra, by the way?
No.
In fact, it was, I think, in Lord Buddha's symbol.
Yeah, I mean, Heart Sutra is a sutra.
Yeah, I don't know. Technically, a sutra has to be spoken by an enlightened being, and he was just in our heart. Okay.
Sometimes people call that enlightenment.
Sometimes we can call that enlightenment. Yeah. Now we reached our second point. That was kind of painless compared to our other experiences of Gyaltsab J. Probably is going to lose us here. I went and got you number 2. Here it is in bold.
The second of the 3 wire nirvanas.
Yeah, which is Tokja Chuin Nama Mandara Mepatama. By now you can translate that.
That there aren't any differences within the thing that you've got to realize, the Dharma Dhatu.
Yeah, good. The thing that you're supposed to perceive, which is emptiness, okay, Tokcha, the realm of, sometimes I translate it as the realm of is or something like that. It's a sexy, poetic word for emptiness. Okay, Namba Mendawa Mepa. There are no fluctuations, there are no different flavors of what you see in the direct perception of emptiness. It's just all the same thing. Okay? And that's the purpose of the next verse, which is really the next verse and a half. Okay, here we go.
I think it's the rest of 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kleshamu Kama Shayu. Negative thoughts are the basis of collecting karma. Dursta Jama Vedanya. Okay. Okay. Kelte. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to go straight to the commentary. Okay. You want to read it? Let's read it. Okay. There is no Sanskrit, I think, right? There's no Sanskrit. Unfortunately. So Kelte means if. Chushe means after you know the thing. Okay. Jugtok means after you know the thing. Now the direct experience of emptiness is divided into
2 parts.
Chushe and Chusu. Okay. Chushe means knowing the thing, and then Chusu
is afterward. They call it patience of the thing, but
mastery.
Mastery
Of the thing. So the direct experience of emptiness is traditionally divided into 2 parts, even from the Abhidharma times. One is called you understood the thing. You understand the thing, which is called Chushe. And then later it's called Chusa. During Chushe, there's a direct conflict going on between your emptiness realization and your negativities. Okay, it's the war, and then chisa happens after the battle is won, and we call it mastery. Okay, so during chishe, inside your mind, your emptiness realization is smashing against your negativities, and then when you come out at the victor, that's called chisa, which is the mastery, the level of mastery. It means the fight is over. But it's kind of like you mix hot water and cold water during chishe, and then everything becomes lukewarm at chisa. You see what I mean? But the fight is going on during chishe. So chishe, just remember, it refers to the active wrestling of emptiness realization and your negativities. Okay, so after you do that, okay, if there were any differences, meaning
In the thing that you see.
good, in the emptinesses, in the chuyings, if there were any differences, then ngopo shindu tawalang, even very subtle objects, if they were named starting, if they were called starting, and this nam takspa means to imagine something that's not there. Okay, if someone imagined that that was what it is to start, okay, then these non-sages, these total non-sages, Namba Mikepa, okay, have not understood the meaning of what it is to be dependent, to come from causes, okay. So what's all that mean? We got to go to the commentary, okay.
Might help us.
Let's read this next.
Kalte,
Yeah.
Tonglam dunya la chisu te chitek, tendril ki nelu tongpa ni munsundu shepe te juktok su dok cha chugin la nampa injawa me.
Yeah, okay, so you're going to get a very earth-shaking assertion here, which is that, as you know, the Abhidharma school says there's 15 aspects going on during the direct perception of emptiness. 16 is already Gomlam. Okay, so there's the famous four truths, which is the first teaching the Buddha ever gave. Everything is suffering, there's a cause for it, there's an end of it, there's a path to the end. 4. And supposedly, in the Abhidharma system, each of those 4 has 4 aspects, for a total of 16. In the Abhidharma system, when you hit 16, you're already on the next path, okay, which is path of habituation. So the question comes up, if there's 16 aspects to the 4 Arya truths, then is a person in the direct perception of emptiness seeing different flavors of something? Because there's 16 different aspects, okay? And the guardian says, no. So then the other guy says, then what the heck is the 16 aspects all about? And he says, that was created for lower people.
Oh, interesting. Where does he mention the 16?
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming in a couple of paragraphs, okay? So it's I've never seen it said that way before. I always tried to fit the 16 into the experiences after the direct perception of emptiness, which is my approach. But I have to admit, in the Abhidharma school, these are supposed to be happening during the direct perception of emptiness, which is not possible because it's all one emptiness, okay? So this is where it's coming up. The lower schools guys are saying, look, there's 16 different things going on during the direct perception of emptiness because there's 4 aspects for each of the 4 truths. And the guardian says, not really. And they say, well, why is that a fundamental teaching of Buddhism? And he says, Buddha just made it up for people who needed it. Okay? Which draws into question the 4 truths. But we're not going there. Okay. Let's just read this. Did we read it?
Yeah, I read it.
Oh, okay. Kelte Tonglam Dungel La Chusa. Okay. So, Dungel is the first of the four aspects,
Right.
the first of the four truths, okay? Everything is suffering, okay? And traditionally they say, with regard to this first of the four truths, you have periods when you're fighting against misunderstanding, and you have periods when you come out of the fight with misunderstanding. This is come out, right? Up here it was chushe. Down here it's chuse, which means the mastery period after the fight is over. You came out on the other side. It's all over. Chuse means mastery of that thing. What? The truth of suffering. Dunya, okay? So you come out the other side of an emptiness understanding relating to suffering, which according to Nagarjuna is all BS anyway. Okay? Because he says, back here, Namba Mendawa Me.
There's nothing else.
No flavors.
There are no flavors inside that experience. Okay, that's our own position. Okay, there are no flavors. It's one eka rasa. It's all one taste, one flavor. Okay, single song. Yeah. So anyway, here we go. Kelte Tonglam, if in the path of seeing, direct perception of emptiness, you have come out of the big fight with regard to the first of the four truths. Okay. Then tenda ke nilok tominingun sam de shepe juk toksu tokpa chao ching na nama mendawa mete. So how can that be? Tenda ke nilok tominingun sam de shepe, when you see directly emptiness as a state of dependence. Okay. Tenda ke nilok, the state of dependence, the nature of dependence. You have seen emptiness. You have seen an emptiness which is the emptiness of dependence. Okay, non-dependence? Let's say that. Yeah. When the shape. After that, after you understand it, okay, we would say that the emptiness you saw, Tokcha Chuying, has no different flavors. It was a single song. Namba Mendawa Me. There are no differences. Okay. Why? Let's Kelte, then read here. Oh yeah, Mendawa Me means there are no different flavors.
Okay. Ma is different, but
Mindawa means different from each other.
okay.
There are no aspects which are different from each other. Yeah. Okay, please read Kelte.
Kante. Yeshe chima ndila mita pa arangten ba sotun tom ten den ba namba mindrawa soso chejaku yang su chepa jawa yunani ngopo shintu trawa tenjun ne lu lang yent depa gangi rangi tseniki kewa nampa dakshin kelana rakpe la sopa la dama kyangchi ge.
Go one more line.
Okay. Tena jukta zin pe niente nampa mi kepa tedak churchan.
Okay, so first of all, we're talking about ideas by people who are nientes, probably lower school, and they are namba mikepa.
They're not wise men.
They are super not wise. Yeah. Okay. Now this sentence is terrible, and let's go slow. Okay.
We have 1 minute.
Good. I'd much rather eat pizza. Okay. Kelte, if it's true that this latter wisdom, Yeshichima, that it has different variations, such as mitapa, mita dingel tomba dagme. What's that? Mita dungel tomba dagme. What's it mean? Mita? Impermanent. Dungel?
Suffering.
Tomba? Empty. Dagme.
Oh, it's the 4 seals.
No, these are the 4 aspects of the first truth. So 4 times 4 is 16. Yeah, these are the first 4 of the 16 aspects. Mita dungel tomba dagme. No self-nature. And by the way, that's the only place the word emptiness occurs in the Abhidharma school.
Wow.
is in one of the four aspects of the first Arya truth, suffering. Yeah, and why suffering gets to be emptiness is the debate. Okay. So this here, mita, is talking about the first of the four aspects of the first Arya truth. Okay, and that mita is rang tsemba.
Yeah, from its it exists by definition.
Yeah, it's a real one.
It's just me.
Okay, rang tsemba. So these are all dundam demba.
Ultimate reality.
And they're all separate from each other, right? Mita, dungel, tomba, dagme. These four aspects of the first truth are separate from each other, okay? Medawa. Soso, chedati, yosu, chepa, chawa. If you split them up, chepa. If you split them up into four aspects of the first truth, which is an Abhidharma tenet and a basic lower first turning of the wheel tenet, and the first turning of the wheel was the four truths, okay? So, you have to split it up into those four. Chepa Chawa Yuna, if they're correct, if there are these variations inside the four Arya truths, as you experience them during the direct perception of emptiness, then emptiness has flavors to an Arya in the direct perception, okay? Ngopo Shindu Chawa, then you're talking about very subtle objects, okay, these divisions of the four truths. And Tenjug and Nelug Laang, then even in these deep states of dependent origination, emptiness as a dependent origination, Nyentu Depa Kanki, those lower school guys, Rangi Cheniki Kiewa, things that could start from their own side, like the husband starts yelling and I didn't do anything, okay? Number deduction, they are just making this stuff up. Okay, they are just all these divisions of the four Arya truths during the direct perception of emptiness are they're figments of their imagination. Number mitapa. Okay. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, man. So, yeah. If I don't know about the Kelta yet, let me get there. Okay, number mitapshin kelangna, and even if you did accept them, rak. I'm not sure why the instrumental. We got to think about it. Anyway, there would be more or less subtle versions of emptiness. Okay? Tama kyang chiga. Not just that. So tama kyang chiga is an idiom that means, it means not only would you say that, but you'd have to say something else. Okay? Not just that. Yeah, you'd be poor. You'd have to say, these super unsages who are just grabbing onto some philosophical thing they were taught, right? The idea is they are just grasping to a philosophical tenet rather than what they thought. Right. Okay, let's take that. If they're correct, then this guy in the experience of the path of seeing, okay, must not have seen, okay, rochik, ekarasa, the fact that emptiness has one flavor and cannot be divided into 31 flavors. Okay, all right. So are you telling me a guy who's having the direct perception of emptiness cannot see that everything is one flavor in the sense that it is free of all figments of the imagination created by dependence, the other side of the emptiness coin? Can an Arya, in the direct perception of emptiness, see dependent origination? No, it's changing. It's a created thing, okay? But according to you, they can. According to you, they are. Why? They're seeing 16 aspects of the four truths. That they're all, half of them are dependent origination, okay? According to you guys, okay? Why do you say that? Because, last thing, chini la namba mandawa soso rimchandu chepa yubeche, because according to you, they always see 16 aspects in a certain order. Mita dungan tomba dagme, and then there's 12 more. Okay. When they see chunyi, when they see dharmata, which is a synonym for shunyata, when they see emptiness, they see it in 16 different aspects, one after the other, very fast. Okay, according to you. And some of those are dependent origination. So according to you, a guy in the direct perception of emptiness is seeing changing things, and we just went through why they can't see changing things. Because emptiness is unchanging. Okay? So we're drawing into question the teaching about 16 aspects. And there's gotta have to come up the question where they're gonna have to attack us and say, okay, right here. Okay, you know, next class, 10 minutes into next class, they're gonna say, well, what the heck is the 16 aspects that Lord Buddha spent so much time teaching us? Okay, wona, chudu, double, shishina. What are the 16 aspects? What's it all about? Alfie. Huh? What's that? Yeah. So, one by one, instant by instant. You see this aspect, and you see 16 chicks. And in the Abhidharma school, again, on the 16th one, you're already into Gomlam. Okay. This is a tenet of the Abhidharma school, which we'll get to in Stanley's text in 2032. He's scheduled to finish in 2046. Okay. He really is. Okay, stopped here. God bless. Yeah, which means, by the way, those of you who know Chang'e, the Ranglu is that the famous 16 aspects are Changden. They were just meant for lower school. There's no such thing. Okay. Now, yeah, okay. Last thing, okay. Last thing. Word asked the question: didn't the lower schools produce arhats and aryas? You know, didn't people get to see emptiness by using Abhidharma teachings? What's the answer?
Yeah. Well, they have amazing seeds from teachings.
No, like a millisecond before they saw emptiness, they became a Prasangika. No, that's the Ranglu. That's what the Prasangika say. Okay, and by the way, so there's two famous statements. Number one, no one ever saw emptiness directly who was not higher middle way. So when an Abhidharma guy goes blah, 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 and then suddenly they see emptiness directly, they became higher middle way like 5 minutes before they saw emptiness. That's the first thing. Second thing, no Buddha ever achieved Buddhahood without Tantra. It's not possible to achieve it the other way. Okay, those are two parallel statements that people make. Any Buddha who ever got to Buddhahood got there by practicing with a partner, for example. So don't tell me it's a bad thing to practice it.
That was my question. My question was, therefore, didn't they at that time tell their lower school buddies, like, well, all this stuff, didn't they just refute everything?
I'm sure they did, and I'm sure the lower school buddies didn't have the karma to hear it. They said, oh, this guy flipped out. He used to be a good Abhidharma, now he's got into this weird middle way stuff. Or they saw a chutoy when the guy was talking about a pen. Okay, here we go. Shibuki Joshi Meto Tamri Lamling Shi Ninde Yembali Sangye Shindu Minte Acha. Don't eat anything for a few. Yeah, thank you.